Hello and welcome to the third episode of the Sequin Spot. I'm Nova China and I'm going to talk tonight about how the Sisters started. So when was it? I reckon it would have been about 2000 well, I'll start from the very beginning. So I always wanted to do a three-girl show because three-girl shows have always been my favourite format. Like, I've always had all these ideas for, costumes and themes and stuff, numbers for three girls. So I've always had that, dream. And probably in about 2010, I started kind of pitching it to clubs. And at that point, I didn't have the cast in mind or the name or anything like that. I just knew that I wanted to do a three-girl show. I actually originally pitched Taylor Made and a queen that was in town at the time called Venus. What was her name? Venus Envy. The three of us. And the club wasn't interested at the time, so I just thought whatever, and I didn't push it too hard. So I pitched that show at one bar that I was performing at, and then another bar that I was performing at, the Greyhound Club actually. I was in the Classics, which you may have heard of, and I'd been in that for 6 years at that point, and I could feel that it was kind of starting to taper off, like there was some weird energy happening, and I could tell that things were brewing and that soon it was going to not be a show. So at that point, I already had the Sisters in mind, and we'd started rehearsing. Me, Sasha and Jackie, I picked them because I thought they were camp and new and had the look that I was going for, because I always knew that I wanted the show to look really like homogenous, like three kind of triplets kind of, which is why it's called the Sisters. And those girls were, basically they looked the most like me. I mean, not as beautiful or thin of course, but fairly similar. And so when I felt that the Classics was starting to go out the window, I started, because up until that point I had to be very careful because I was, it's very difficult to be in a show at a club and then say, oh, by the way, I have my own show. Like, everyone starts to sort of get really edgy, like all the other queens and the bosses and the managers and stuff. Not so much the managers, but more the other queens and the other performers. They get really, they're on edge about, there's a glass ceiling and they definitely want you to stay under that. So I had to be very subtle and tentative about the whole thing. So every now and then I would just drop if you ever need a three-girl show on a public holiday or something, then, I've got something I've been working on. Like, I was very self-deprecating and it was just a little three-girl show and all that. And there was no bites on the end of the hook. So when I felt the Classics was kind of trailing off, I started to become a little bit more aggressive with the marketing of it, and I was putting it out on Facebook and it started to get a few noses out of joint. And I had a meeting at one of the clubs that I was performing at, and they essentially told me that the show would never go on anywhere in Melbourne because of the cast, and I knew that one of the other performers was in the ear of the manager, and that was why it was being vetoed. So that opportunity didn't happen. And then at the Greyhound we started doing special events, like we did public holidays, we did like early shows and stuff like that on a Saturday night. And then I started to get little messages from different sources to kind of tell me to stop doing it. Like, it was all very clandestine and it wasn't like overt, but they were basically telling me to stop doing that show there. For example, one week I got rung up by someone who shall remain nameless and told that I'd been sacked from the Classics because something to do with the early show, the Sisters of Sequin. And I was like, oh, that's funny. And I kind of just, whatever, it's showbiz. And then miraculously by the end of the week, like this was a Monday, and then by the Friday before the Saturday night that I would have performed, I was miraculously. And I kind of interpreted that as a little warning that, what I was doing was, like, they didn't want it to happen. And that was coming from one person in particular. So that happened, and then the Classics finished, and so I was right, that did happen, and I knew that I wanted to have something like a creative outlet and something to move on to, so that's why I had the Sisters. queen who had been the entertainment manager had a little bit of a psychotic break, and the management essentially came to me and said, we have to get rid of this person. Would you like to take over? And so it was very scandalous. I said, yes, of course. And here's my show, The Sisters. And they were like, oh, yes, fabulous. So we had to keep it under wraps for like 2 weeks, and I was petrified of going to rehearsals with this person for those 2 weeks because I thought that they would find out and like literally bash the shit out of me. And then I went to America for about 15 days, and then in that time the club owner broke it to that person and ushered them out, like they were banned from the premises. And so when it all broke on Facebook when I was in America, so I was a nice distance away and I didn't have to get bashed, thankfully. But then I came back and we launched the show, and it was a hit success, and acclaimed, like everyone loved it. But the club closed down within about 2.5 months. So on the last night, I can't say that. But yeah, so that was a bit of a shame, and then that didn't happen. And then, so for the next 8 months or so, the Sisters was a non-event. Like I shipped the costumes around and put them in various storage places, and they got mold and mildew and rats eating them and all that kind of stuff. And then
do rats eat sequins?
Well, it was more moths, and I learned that moths, they like natural fabrics like cotton and stuff, but most of our stuff's synthetic, so they weren't eating the synthetic stuff, so that was good. But then I was laying on the beach in December 2014.
Which beach?
It's my private beach, actually. It's in Port Melbourne, and it's a beach. I call it my private beach because it's no one ever goes there, and I feel like I'm the only one that knows it.
Nova's private beach.
Yeah, it's a beautiful beach. It's like it's shaped like Bondi Beach, but it's like much smaller.
It's like a little cove.
Yeah, a little cove, and no one knows about it. And I'm usually the only person there, and it's beautiful. And it's not a beat or anything like that.
Well, it is now.
No, it's not. And so I was laying on the beach in December, and I was on holidays at the time, and I got a call from Chris, the owner here, and he's like, is that Nova? And I'm like, yeah. And basically what had happened is that I'd pitched him the show about 2 years earlier, and he'd kept it in his inbox ever since, and then contacted me and said, do you want to start like next week? And I was like, well, I kind of thought about it, and I was like, do I really want to take something on now? Because my life's just so stressful and hectic as it is. And I thought, you know what? This could be the chance that the Sisters need, because they never really got off the ground. All they ever did was special events and a couple of months season at the other club that closed down. So I thought, you know what? We'll do it. And I asked the Sisters, of course, and they were all for it. Came in for a meeting, that was all good. And the rest is history, really. And I just think of it as a really good lesson in perseverance, because I was basically bullied and, stood over by various people and venues and kind of told that it wasn't going to happen. I used to have things happen, like I would put my profile picture as the Sisters of Sequin poster, and then I would get abusive text messages from the people that I was in the current shows that I was in, saying, can you please change your profile picture and stuff like that. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention is that we did a few special events in Canberra. Like we went to Canberra about 3 times, and that was really good for getting the Sisters name out there, because it was something different, and yeah, we did well over there. So that's basically the story of the Sisters, but I think it's a really good lesson in perseverance. And from go to woe, I had the idea in like 2011, and we didn't really get this show until the end of 2014, the very end. So yeah, I think I'm pretty proud of where the Sisters have come from and how we've persevered. And the girls, Jackie and Sasha, will probably be hearing all of this for the first time, because as the self-elected leader, I kind of shielded them from all of that negative energy, because we actually performed at the Greyhound on a night where I believed that I had been fired because of the show. And I hope the Sisters didn't pick up on that negative energy, because I didn't want that to infect.
So you didn't tell them this was all going on?
No way, because I didn't want the show to be
tainted with that flavour.
Yeah, and they were so young and starting their careers that I didn't want them to be So would you say this is a typical scenario? Typical scenario.
Yeah, your experience on the drag scene, the club scene.
Yeah, I think there's a saying that, you're everyone's friend in drag until you have your own show or until you are in charge of like hiring and firing people. Like everyone loves the camp guests, you know, they're everyone's best friend, but as soon as you start putting your own thing together and pitching stuff to clubs, people like other performers,
You become a threat.
Yeah, you do. You become a threat. And I was at the point, like for many years before that, I was at the point where I was very happy to be the one that everyone loved and the guest and, you know, the good time gal that wasn't threatening to anyone. Not that I'm a threat now, but you know what I mean. But there came a point where I just thought, well, I've actually got nothing to lose. Like I don't care if I lose all my shows. Like I don't care anymore, so I may as well try. And I did, and it kind of paid off. So I'm really happy about that.
Well, I'm glad that you continued on because I like
Thank you.
the Sisters of Sequin.
Yeah.
I
And
think you have potential and you're talented, and I love your routines and your outfits
you.
and your energy on stage and the way you all, I don't know, you sort of click together.
yeah, we do. And yeah, I mean that's just purely by chance. Like I didn't know the girls from Bar of Soap when I asked them to do it, but it's just worked out really well. And the other camp bit of goss, while we're talking about it, is I just remembered that the way I got hired to be in the classics was Paris gave me a call. And I've never told her this, so she may be hearing it for the first time. But when I received the call, I was actually on the toilet. And I'll always remember that. It was in the end of 2007, and I was on the toilet, and my phone called like with this like weird number because, believe it or not, you could actually get caller ID back then.
And you had your phone with you in the toilet.
Oh, I always do. Who doesn't? But that was before there was data on your phone, so I wasn't on Facebook. I don't know what the hell I was doing. Well, that was before Facebook, I think.
It was like texting.
2007. I don't know. Maybe just when Facebook started. But anyway, so she called me and she's like, "Oh, girl, is that the leggy Nova?" And I'm like, "Girls, who's this?" And she's like, "It's Paris." And I'm like, "Shit, what the hell does she want?" And she's like, "Oh, are you working on Saturday nights at the moment?" And I'm like, "Well, actually, yeah, I am working on Saturday nights because I was doing a guest spot. Well, not a guest spot. I was actually hosting every Saturday night at a place on Smith Street called Neverwhere, which is now where Polly and Lexi performed. Do you know that right next door?
89.
Yeah, the 86.
86.
The 86, yeah. It's now the 86. Yeah, so I was performing at Neverwhere in 2007 for about a year. And then Paris rang me up and she's like, "Are you working on Saturday nights?" And I'm like, "Yeah, look, I am. Why?" And she goes, "Oh, we just need someone to fill in for the classics." And I'm like, "Are you for real? Like, why the hell would you call me? Like, the classics is like the show in Melbourne." And like I'm just some crappy, you know, I was like a baby drag at that point. So I said, "Well, yeah, I am." And the other consideration I have was that I didn't want to give up a regular, you know, show for something that was just a fill-in thing. So I actually originally said no, but then I think I mulled over it overnight, and I just once again I thought, look, I'll lose that show. I don't really care. Like for a chance to even fill in for 3 weeks in the classics, like that's, you know, that looks really good on the drag resume. So I rang her back and I said, "Look, you know what? I'll do it." And so I went to rehearsals and I was petrified because I've never done any form of choreography at that point, and I was terrible. I haven't got much better, but
I don't know about that.
yeah.
I think a lot of your performances depend on, like you were saying before, how performing at the GH was like good on the drag resume.
Yeah.
It's about the stage that you get to work on and the facilities that
True.
make you look good, the lighting and they've got the big screens there.
Yeah.
When you're on like a little box somewhere on a stage.
That's where I was.